Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever caught yourself daydreaming about just packing up and starting fresh in another country, you are definitely not alone. But that massive gap between actually dreaming about it and doing it, well, that almost always comes down to logistics. So today, we're unpacking the 2026 edition of the Black Expat Roadmap. And I have to tell you, this isn't some glossy travel brochure. It's a meticulous, step-by-step system designed to show you exactly how to relocate seamlessly. It literally takes a massive, overwhelming life change and breaks it down into a highly manageable sequence of actions. Let's dive in. The author of this roadmap hits the nail on the head with this brilliant quote. It perfectly sets up our goal for today. International relocation isn't just a fantasy. It is a totally manageable logistical process, but only if you prepare correctly. The source material really emphasizes that while moving abroad is a massive undertaking, people usually only fail when they leap without looking. So this explainer is all about that looking part. We're going to give you the blueprint so you don't end up regretting a lack of preparation, or worse, delaying your dream forever because you just didn't know where to start. To get you fully prepared, here's our actual roadmap for today. We'll cover exactly why people are leaving, how to choose your destination, navigating the nitty-gritty of visas, taxes, and banking, building that crucial digital income, managing the human side of the move, and finally, a concrete 24-month action plan. Okay, Section 1, Why People Are Leaving. We're going to look at the financial, quality of life, and racial realities driving the shift. Right now, over 9 million Americans currently live abroad. 9 million. And that number is climbing fast as people actively seek out a better quality of life. The source notes that since 2020, applications for foreign residency have absolutely surged. For example, Portugal saw a 35% jump in American applications, and Mexico's temporary resident visas have actually doubled. So this isn't just a passing trend, right? It's a full-blown movement. When you look at the financial contrast, it's pretty wild. The math simply doesn't work for millions of people in the US anymore. In the US, a family of four often needs over $100,000 a year just to feel comfortable. Healthcare alone averages $22,000 a year per family. But look at the alternatives. In Portugal, a couple can live incredibly well for about $2,600 a month. In Colombia, a single person can thrive on just $1,100. The roadmap really highlights that moving abroad is hands down one of the most effective ways to instantly reclaim your purchasing power. Your dollar basically becomes a superpower. And for Black Americans specifically, the source notes that leaving the US often means leaving behind chronic racial stress. The roadmap details something called the Black Expat factor. It impartially reports that the daily, relentless cost of navigating systemic issues in America actually has measurable physiological consequences. We're talking elevated cortisol levels and interrupted sleep. While the author is very clear that racism and colorism absolutely exist globally, Black expats consistently report that the specific, heavy brand of stress they experience in the US is dramatically lighter abroad. They finally just get to exist in peace. Section 2, Choosing Your Destination. This is all about finding the absolute right fit for your lifestyle and your budget. You've got some incredibly diverse options out there. On one hand, you could choose a deeply resonant cultural homecoming in Ghana. They actually have a government-backed year of return program and a right of abode visa, specifically for the African diaspora, which offers a profound sense of spiritual homecoming. Or if your priority is hyper-affordable living and working remotely, you could opt for the digital nomad paradise of Thailand. It's got a massive expat community and top-tier medical care at just 20% of what it costs in the US. Depending entirely on your budget and what kind of residency path you want, these top destinations are surprisingly accessible. Portugal is Europe's most accessible gem, offering a D7 passive income visa that can actually lead to an EU passport in 5 years. Mexico keeps you just a quick 2 to 4 hour flight from the US, with places like Tulum becoming massive hubs for Black American expats. And Colombia offers this incredible climate along with an exceptionally low income requirement for their digital nomad visa, just around $750 a month. The roadmap system is brilliant because it helps you match your specific budget and long-term goals directly to the right visa structure. Moving on to Section 3, Visas, Taxes, and Banking. Basically, the vital legal and financial foundation you have to lay down. Now, you don't just magically jump straight to citizenship. The roadmap advises starting with a 30 to 90-day visa-free tourist entry as a sort of soft landing, just to test the waters. From there, it's a step-by-step process. You apply for a digital nomad or passive income visa, which then transitions into temporary residency for a few years, eventually unlocking permanent residency. And in many countries, that leads to full citizenship without you even having to give up your US passport. Here's a huge point. Because the US taxes your worldwide income, understanding tax tools like the FEIE is absolutely crucial to legally reducing your US tax bill, often straight down to zero. The roadmap emphasizes that no, you won't necessarily pay double taxes, but you absolutely still must file annually. By meeting the physical presence test, which means you're outside the US for at least 330 days a year, you can use the foreign earned income exclusion to shield a massive portion of your income. Similarly, you have to stay totally compliant with FATCA to report your foreign assets. There are also forms like the FBAR, which are required if your foreign bank accounts exceed $10,000 at any point during the year. The penalties for messing this up, they are steep, sometimes up to 50% of your account balance. So the roadmap's golden rule right here, do not try to DIY your international taxes. Hiring an expat tax specialist is completely non-negotiable. Before you even think about packing a bag, you need to set up this exact financial and digital infrastructure to make sure you can access your money and communicate seamlessly from day one. Honestly, this is one of my favorite practical takeaways from the guide. Setting up a Charles Schwab checking account refunds all your international ATM fees globally. Wise lets you move money across currencies at near interbank rates. And check this out. For just a $20 one-time fee, you can port your US phone number to Google Voice before canceling your carrier. That means your US number lives on forever via Wi-Fi. All right, Section 4, Building Digital Income. How to actually fund this amazing new life abroad, totally location independently. The roadmap outlines these 6 core digital income streams that you should really start building and testing months before you ever board a plane. Utilizing AI tools like Claude, ChatGPT, and Midjourney has completely revolutionized how we generate remote income now. It allows a single person to produce and sell work at a scale that was previously impossible. Whether you're building an AI automation agency, creating online courses, or renting out your US property for passive US dollar income, the system's golden rule is to build your income first. You want to make sure you have at least a baseline generating $500 to $2,000 a month before truly committing to the move. Section 5. Managing the human side. We're talking logistics, healthcare, and the very real phenomenon of culture shock. This is a shocking fact for a lot of Americans, but Medicare does not cover you outside the US, period. You will need to budget for comprehensive international insurance like Cigna or Safety Wing until you actually qualify for local public health care in your new country. The roadmap is super clear on this. You cannot rely on US healthcare systems once you cross the border. You need to secure private international insurance, grab a 3-month supply of any medications you take, and literally learn the generic names of your prescriptions before you leave. You also really need to prepare yourself mentally for the 4 guaranteed phases of culture shock. The roadmap is great because it validates this emotional roller coaster. The first 2 months, that's the honeymoon phase. The food is incredible, everything feels wonderfully cheap, and it is endlessly exciting. But months 2 through 6 bring the frustration phase. The bureaucracy drives you up the wall, and you just deeply, intensely miss the convenience of a 2 a.m. Target run. But listen, if you expect this exhausting phase, you can push right through it to reach a warm adjustment period and ultimately find true integration and genuine community by year 1. Finally, Section 6, the 24-month action plan, taking you from today all the way to landed. This is how the roadmap helps people actually pull this off. It breaks a massive life change into highly actionable phases, taking you from day 1 of research all the way to building real roots in your new home 2 years later. You don't try to do the whole shebang at once. In months 1 to 3, you just focus on foundations, opening that Schwab account and getting apostilles for your documents. By months 4 through 9, you're taking your exploratory trip and building your digital income. Then you spend months 10 to 18 applying for your visa and selling off your stuff, saving the final phase for actually arriving and building your community. As you follow this plan, remember to stay grounded. No country is a perfect, flawless utopia, but the right preparation ensures you are trading up for a life that genuinely feels like freedom. The source material is refreshingly honest here. It reminds us that whether it's navigating local colorism in Latin America or dealing with random power outages in Ghana, every single place has challenges. The whole goal of the roadmap isn't to sell you a fantasy. It's to help you make a highly informed, strategic choice about exactly which challenges you'd rather deal with. So, you now have the knowledge and you've seen the roadmap. My final question to you is this: what small action will you take today to begin your journey? As the author notes, the world isn't waiting for you to be ready. Maybe that first action means opening a multi-currency account. Maybe it's researching a specific visa, or just joining an expat group online. The beauty of a structured system like this is that it makes the impossible feel incredibly doable. So pick just one step from phase 1 and just start.